New information tonight on how California deals with its sex offenders has State Assemblyman Nathan Fletcher upset. You'll recall that he's the lawmaker who teamed up with the parents of Chelsea King to get Chelsea's law passed in Sacramento. KUSI's Sasha Fu is in the newsroom tonight to explain why Fletcher is sounding the alarm. Sasha?
Sandra, gaps and oversights in the state justice system allow John Gardner to go free. Well, the state lawmaker who fought to close those loopholes believes a new state audit reveals more troubling deficiencies. Sex offenders aren't being effectively screened. When paroled sex offender John Gardner raped and killed Amber Dubois and Chelsea King, some observers said the criminal justice system should shoulder part of the blame. One of those critics was Nathan Fletcher.
The law requires a detailed and in-depth analysis and screening of all of these folks before they're released.
The assembly member from San Diego authored Chelsea's Law, a measure that mandates life in prison for violent predators who target children and imposes tougher monitoring of the most dangerous offenders. But Fletcher says any law is only as effective as its enforcement.
Because it's not enough to pass a new one if the existing ones aren't being properly implemented and enforced.
That's why Fletcher told us he's disappointed with a new report from the state auditor that looks at how sex offenders are screened before they're released from prison. Fletcher says the state is falling short by failing to do enough face-to-face mental health evaluations.
The Department of Mental Health on a lot of cases is doing what we call paper screenings, where they're looking at the record and saying, no, they don't need to be contained. That's not what the law says. The law requires an in-person evaluation by a mental health expert, and we expect that the bureaucracy will comply with the law.
The study conducted by State Auditor Elaine Howell criticizes the Corrections Department for referring too many offenders to outside evaluators with the Department of Mental Health. The auditor says some of those evaluations should be done by prison authorities to cut down on cost and improve efficiency. But Fletcher says that's not the most serious problem.
Well, I don't care who evaluates them as long as it gets done. I mean, it doesn't matter to me if one branch of the state government or another branch of the state government does it. I'm not as worried about the process as I am the result.
The auditor says none of the shortcomings she found puts public safety at greater risk. Assemblyman Fletcher isn't convinced.
It's disappointing to see an auditor come out and defend a broken system. When it's clear, when you look at the numbers in the report, they are not in compliance with the law.
And here is a huge point of difference. Fletcher says in his reading of the auditor's report, not enough offenders are getting that critical face-to-face mental health evaluation. But the auditor says that is not the case at all, and there are no discrepancies in the evaluation process. In the newsroom, I'm Sasha Fu, KUSI News.
And Sasha, why is that evaluation process so critical?
Very important. Under the system, offenders who are eligible for parole are supposed to be screened thoroughly to see if they're too dangerous for release. And if they are identified as sexually violent predators, the worst, they may be committed to a state hospital for treatment instead of being freed from prison. Nathan Fletcher, by the way, says he has some more questions for the state auditor and plans to sit down with her at a meeting later this week.
Look forward to that follow-up. Thank you, Sasha.